Hey folks, we're going to continue creating art for the supplement that we're creating, Spelljammer Combat and Exploration. So, give me a second here to check my signal, go through my intro spiel, and then we'll get to work here for a little bit. So, mic check, 1, 2, 3.
Check.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Yeah, that's plenty obnoxious. Thanks, Phil. Great. We are going to, let's see, click. We're going to illustrate some more hidden ships today, so give me a second here to boost my signal, and I will walk through my intro spiel here, and then we'll get to work. So hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing game supplements, I illustrate them, and then I publish them online. There are a slew of links in the description down below of work that I've previously created for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition that are on the DMsGuild. If you're here for artwork, you can click on the full preview button, or if you're on a mobile phone, the little eye icon, it'll kick open a PDF document. And for illustration, for folks that are interested in illustrations, there's probably about 150 different paintings in there for across those books for folks to take a look at. And if you are here strictly for game mechanics, D&D stuff, whether you're a DM or a player, there's stuff there for you on either side of the screen, and all of those books have 100% free preview, so you can browse them before you buy them. If you think the stuff is cool, it would certainly be appreciated to help support the growth of the channel. And otherwise, you can also assist helping grow the channel with, you can follow me on Twitter X, at Phil Kearney, so you can get notifications of when I go live, just like this one. Today, we're working on hidden ships. But the best way to support the channel right now is to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and that way you get notifications when I'm live, which is 6 days a week, 9 or 10 times at different points. And we picked up another subscriber, so thanks so much. We're hoping to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the year. I have no idea how that would happen, but that's the dream. So if during the course of the episode you think this stuff is cool, consider jumping on board and sticking around for a while. Say hey down in the chat here. So Spelljammer Combat and Exploration, we are currently at episode 230, and we created this back around episode 15, so you can check that out. We create role-playing games. We then so what does that mean? We come up with an idea. Currently, we work in 5th edition. So we come up with an idea. We play test it. If the idea is cool, we write it up. We hire an editor. The editor digests it, kicks it back to me to say, "This is the way that you're supposed to say it, stupid." And so the book gets made. We then distribute the text across the pages so that they're blocked into ideas that are more easily digested. And every time we do that, it opens up space in the page. Some of them are chock full of charts and stuff, but others have, as you can see, gaps here that we can fill in with illustrations. So when we finish, this is a 107-page document. So when we finish all the texty bits, we then start to take each page individually. We make them a PDF. We import the PDF into Photoshop, and then we begin illustrating them. So this is the piece that we're currently working on, Hidden Ships, that have the reference here of spiderling fighter craft as such that are skulking around these asteroids that are basically hunting this space galleon. So we'll work on, I think I want to work on the proportions, like I think I want to make this hole a little bit more squat and broaden those sails a bit. But otherwise, all we're doing right now is making spiderling fighter craft. Here is our color reference for the galleon, weapons. Here is our schematics for a 40-foot, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40-foot spiderling fighter craft. So the past couple episodes, we've been working on the asteroids, and then we work on the spiderling. So I'm going to take, I'm going to stick to that same tradition, and beep, 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 beep. We're going to work on asteroids a little bit more, just to loosen the pen, and then we'll keep working on the spiderling. So zooming in here, we have the detail, and then we have the base layer for the asteroids. So these asteroids are almost done. They're very small. So let's get into these. So I'm here 6 days a week, Monday through Friday in the mornings. It's my morning coffee stream. Cheers. We work on the Spelljammer book. Typically on Mondays and Thursdays, we work on cartography for Eberron. Last night got scuttled because of the Bastion system. I jumped on Terran Pound's Indestructiboy's channel and hung out with him, Dungeoneers Pack, and Ketup, talking about the new playtest document, UA8 for Dungeons & Dragons, the Bastion system, and looked at cantrips as well. So that kind of scuttled my work day for Eberron. So I'm going to be back at lunchtime today as a makeup session for the Eberron art stream. And then tomorrow I have, on Saturdays, I do commissions or personal projects. And currently I'm working on a book cover commission. And then on Tuesday I do mechanic development for the martial power system, which is a martial magic system that gives martial characters like fighters, barbarians, monks, etc. All the classes then have a resource that they can spend of mana to create different magical effects to complement the action loops and adventuring fantasy you have for your martial characters to help reflect what the spellcasters have already been getting since first edition, which is options, more options for you to build the kind of character to do the kind of things that you want. So we developed that on Tuesday. We also have the Eldraine project, which we look at the different Magic the Gathering monsters that were released in the Wizards of the Coast's Monstrous Compendium 4 for Dungeons & Dragons on D&D Beyond. We analyze that for color coding. That's typically on a Monday. Yeah, so we'll be doing that on Monday as well. And other things crop up as they do, like the Spell Point Sorcerer that we've been working on. We also have, if you check out my playlist, in the past year, before building the Spelljammer book that we're now working on, I had been working on a mass combat and bastion system of my own, which is at my Patreon. If you check out my Patreon down below and go look at the in-command system, that thing is already, it's in its alpha playtest stage, and some people are playtesting it already. Basically, it uses Renown to accumulate resources that can then be converted into different industries inspired by Adam Hancock's Guilds in Balron's Guide to Kingdom Building, inspired the industry resources that are basically bastion points, but devoted to different industries. You could have just generic resource points, which would work essentially the same as the bastion points, or if you use the devotion system that I developed in the 5-color mana spell point variant rules, you can devote each resource that you have to a specific industry, and when you do so, you gain greater and greater advantages by performing tasks relevant to that industry. And it's a looser system that I'm happy to go revisit. So what we're gonna do on Saturday is we have our, like I said, our commission stream, but then I'm going to come back and we're going to then look at the Bastion system as presented by the Wizards of the Coast, and then we're going to come back again after that and look at the command system that I've been developing that will probably be dropped into a Kickstarter once I finish my current roster of books, which includes the Spelljammer book, the Eberron adventure that I've been developing on Mondays and Thursday nights, the martial power system that we do development for on Tuesday. Once those things clear my plate, the new edition of Dungeons & Dragons will drop, at which point we will update our color mana spell point system to be compliant with the new edition. And then our plate will finally be clear, probably in 2025, for us to begin our run at in command armies, guilds, and kingdoms to be a more ubiquitous system that can be used with generally 5e, but 5e clones. Anything that basically uses a d20 to calculate results can theoretically be, like, you could use it in Lancer, you could use it with Pathfinder, you could use it with Shadow Dark, you could use it with any of the d20 clones that basically have a proficiency system that ties to a d20 roll to determine success. My systems can be used with that. So keep an eye out for that stuff. I've got a shitload of stuff on my plate, and this is what I do. So this has been my hobby since 1987. I've been a forever DM basically since 1994, and started freelance art in 2001, and then I started creating my own books in 2000. It's 5 years ago. 2018, when Ravnica came out. Was that 2017? When Ravnica came out, that inspired me to create the 5 color mana spell point variant rules, which are linked down below. You can check all those books out in the cost. It basically creates a color mana system to replace spell slots in D&D using an alternate spell point system other than what was presented in the Dungeon Master's Guide. I've been using it literally for 4 years now in my home campaign, and it is nearly a gold bestseller, meaning we have nearly 500 other people that have bought into the 6 books that are now in that bundle. Everything for core classes, Eldritch Knights, Arcane Tricksters, Point Warlocks. There's a revised, I built out a separate pay what you want for revised color mana list that will be integrated into the 2024 revision. So we'll be collapsing some of those documents into the same core document. But we also have Point Warlocks that we've been developing as well, that can be folded into the core mechanics book. And then we'll have Martial Powers, which gives the same color mana system to the remaining 5 Barbarian, Fighter, Monk, Rogue. The remaining 4 classes that don't have a mana resource built into them, not counting, of course, the Eldritch Knight and Arcane Trickster. So when we're done with all of this, there's going to be a thorough, consistent mechanical system for using color mana as your base magic paradigm inside of D&D, in case you are like a Strixhaven, Theros, Ravnica, Eldraine enthusiast that really enjoys the color mana philosophy and you want to express it mechanically through your character. You could become a member of the Cynic Combine and have all of your mana devoted to green and blue magic, and then automatically pick up spells that are green or blue. And if they aren't, like a Fireball is a red spell, you could research, spending time perhaps in your Bastion, to research the spell as a different color. So like you could learn Fireball, like Fireball is native to red, but you could learn it as blue or green if you wanted to, so you'd be able to use blue or green mana to throw a Fireball. You could, of course, just have a character with red mana, but then you wouldn't, narratively, you wouldn't be of the Cynic Combine. So you wouldn't have the Cynic Combine background feature for your character. If you take the Boros Legion, you could have red mana, which is Boros is red and white. So you are either gaining specific benefits from the background that you choose, or you're going to spend time in research effort to learn the spells that aren't native to your colors, to be devoted to your colors. And so you can tell a really powerful character either in resources or levels, because they're throwing, like, their entire spell repertoire is in the color that is optimal for that particular character. So this slows the roll of full casters, slow them down a little bit, to prevent them from completely quadratically outscaling the martial characters. But at the same time, the martial characters are getting color mana too. So, but their mana system is more flexible. You can pick 2 colors or more if you wanted, but a minimum of 2 colors, and then just divide up split between the powers that you know as a martial character between the colors that are in your color pool. So those are the ideas that are there. If you think this stuff is kind of cool, we do that on Tuesdays, and right now we're deconstructing and rebuilding all of the fighter subclasses to work with the martial power system, and we will be working on the Psy Warrior this Tuesday. So like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications of when I go live for that. If you check out my Twitter feed, you'll see when each week I do the different events. They are basically 7 days apart unless they run multiple times a week. In which case, every time I go live, I always post on Twitter, even if it's on somebody else's channel, like Terran's last night when we were looking at Bastion for the first time. So there you go. Good times, man. I'm really happy with where all this is heading, what's being developed. I don't know if 1D&D is going to be any good or not. I do know that if it isn't, it's just going to make the stuff that we've been developing more necessary. And if it is good, then congratulations to Wizards for improving their product. There's been a couple polls online, and basically there's like a 97 to 99% agreement amongst people that are concerned about the new edition that Wizards won't do it well. So that doesn't say a lot for the caretakers of the world's the world's greatest role-playing game. But who knows? Maybe they'll be able to step up their game and hit the mark. If they weren't interested in pleasing the crowd, they wouldn't be basing success on different aspects on a popularity poll. So it's obviously they're the dog being wagged by the tail, and it doesn't really suggest that they have a design goal in mind other than improve their popularity. And if that's the case, they may as well just make hentai art, because that's really popular on Patreon and on Reddit. You can make a lot of money if you just do smut. So maybe Wizards can get a character OFan account. Who knows? Good luck to them. Good luck. I wish them well. It's my favorite game. I don't like WotC. I don't like what they've done with 5th edition. I wasn't a fan of 4th edition. I loved 3rd edition. But 3rd edition is the only edition of Dungeons & Dragons which is also a deck building game. Wizards of the Coast, creators of Magic the Gathering, in their first go at making a role-playing game, built a deck building role-playing game. And by deck building, I mean each level your character gains from level 1 to 20. You add on another character class, and as you gain more levels, you could access different prestige classes that allows you to build your character over time into more specialized or more general capabilities, depending on what kind of action loops that you wanted. And that system was brilliant. It was clunky as hell, and now looking back at it, 15 years later, some odd, we can see obviously how that system can be improved, and the core chassis of what 5e is a great improvement over the initial D20 OGL system design. But Wizards had a very strong design identity back in 3E and 4E, and they've diluted their design team so much in D&D that the people that were the engineers of the D20 system, for the most part, other than Jay Craw and like James White and stuff, but a lot of the veterans are working on Magic the Gathering now because there's more money there. So there's less resources being spent on D&D, and it's shown in the past year with the dissatisfaction of the products that they've been putting out. They hired a new string of developers. I guess some of them are poached from Paizo's Pathfinder and Starfinder. They've recruited some folks that designed adventures on the DMsGuild, but for the most part, they don't have any real like heavy hitters on character class design that are out there and passionate about creating clever, interesting, balanced options that that Wizard should take note of and give credit for. But that's me just ranting again about the D&D I wish we had instead of the one that we do have. So forgive my rants; they are my own. And that was my timer. So we now get to gaze in wide-eyed wonder at the joy we have created. I'm going to call these asteroids Dunzo. Obviously I can clean up these edges a little bit, but I don't need to bother you with those right now. I'm going to just hit some dark over here real quick. There, just want to darken up that patch a little bit. There, I'll probably mince on these a little bit more, but I think we got the point across, and I feel pretty warmed up. I got my rant out of the way. I'm looking forward to looking at the Bastion a little bit more objectively. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like where they're going with. I don't like the underlying intention of it, and I don't like how poorly it meshes with the general game philosophies that Wizards has been promoting over the past 10 years about how you're supposed to play D&D. With what little guidance they have provided, it does not lean into long-lasting campaigns where you have access to a facility over and over again, like a West March campaign. I don't think I've heard any employees of Wizards of the Coast mention a West March campaign ever. So I don't think they have their finger on the pulse, or they've forgotten. Like for example, the Cunning Strikes option for the Rogue in 1D&D that came out of the Complete Scoundrels book in 3rd edition, which Jeremy Crawford and Chris Perkins were a part of producing. Yet they haven't mentioned it yet. They are cutting off their own history, and it shows in their design philosophy that they aren't using the past as a means of producing better content in the future, and that's concerning. So if I'm pissing off people in the industry or player base, then good, because the world is bigger than what Wizards is presenting it to be. And it's a shame that they could be making money off of their own work by just simply referencing it. Like, hey, here's an older edition that you can buy books from DTRPG to check out to see where we're heading in our design philosophy. Or if you love Planescape, here's a crap ton of box sets that you could buy off of DTRPG right now, print on demand, and use our 5th edition mechanics to curve into what we are now envisioning Planescape to be these days, and just do like a glow up update. That would be, I'd be impressed if that was the approach they took, but they didn't. It's too late. They can't take that approach at this point. There's like 30 books for Spelljammer that 2nd edition was produced for TSR, and almost all of that, like virtually all of that information, other than the ship maps that they put in the book, have been abandoned. And that's a shame, because there is a lot of people that still use 2nd edition that are sad the lore is missing that was so well developed in the 90s. And it's been erased, and it hasn't been erased, it's been ignored, is an accurate statement. All the history, that the legacy that WotC adopted from TSR, it's been neglected like a stepchild would be. So that's a shame. I just think they could do better. I think the world could be a better place if they leaned into the legacy that they actually have instead of the legacy that they're presenting it as. So harsh criticism, I know, but I bought those things off of the bookstore rack at B. Dalton's and Walden Books back in the 90s. So I am a long tooth that laments the loss over time, but I'm still enthusiastic about the 5e game engine, and I'm still in love with the IPs. Like, the reason why I stay in D&D as it is because I'm so in love with the IPs that although I could create an alternate Spelljammer world to sell my own book through and make my own money, I legitimately love the Spelljamming setting, which has kept me in the corral of DMsGuild to produce this stuff to share with people. So I'll eventually break out and head on my own. That's mostly going to be dependent on how one D&D pans out. So, but now I'm talking about business again, and we're going to let that go. So but that's some of my history there for you guys in a nutshell. That's where I'm coming from. That's why I have the opinions that I have. You are welcome to argue with me on any points. I welcome the debate. I'm confident in my opinions, but have often openly eaten crow when I was off base or mistaken about how I thought something worked. Because we can all evolve and grow, and even though we have our opinions that are based on our own experiences, as we have the opportunity to share our experiences with others, we have the opportunity to expand other people's, including me, to embrace a larger world. So that is to be celebrated. There's no victory in having a stance that shouldn't be defended or is built upon a flawed ideal or information. So stay plastic, man. Stay open to change. Be that change. Embrace the wind, and allow yourself to evolve and stay fresh in your own mind. All right, I'm still mincing on these asteroids, even though I said, quote unquote, I'm done. But it's only 7 o'clock now, so it looks like I'm pacing out my timing pretty good there. So I'm going to go ahead and cap that there, because I could just mince on this stuff forever. Especially if I zoom in, I can get real detailed with texture. But that's something I can do when I'm listening to a podcast or whatever. I do a lot of painting offline as well. I just share with you 100 minutes of whatever it is that I'm working on. 2 days ago, I did a walkthrough of all the maps and diagrams and ship stuff that I was illustrating at a later portion of this book that I haven't been streaming here, so you can see the amount of progress I've made in the book overall, beyond just what we have here, because I work on this every day for a couple hours at night as well. So this is just the more, I think, graphically interesting stuff. It's cool illustrations. People like seeing illustrations. This is more of an opportunity. This is like the stuff that I do at night is production work. It's manufacturing visual elements. It's manufacturing illustrations and diagrams and charts and maps, which has limited appeal. Doing actual illustrations like this where I have to use brush techniques, can talk about color layouts and all that other stuff, that generally has more interest on stream for folks that like artwork. So that's why I focus my attention on the particular pieces that I work on here in the mornings. Meanwhile, I've got a whole production pipeline that I work on at night off stream. So, having said all that, hopefully the muse is going to let go of me here in a second and let me, okay, thank you. Jeez, sometimes she just doesn't want to let go. She's like, one more thing. I'm like, no, baby, we got to do this. And she's like, no, we got to do this one more thing. And all I can do is just kind of tag along until she lets me go. So, legs. I'm going to call this trash. I'm going to grab all these things and drop them down. Drop them down into the spider trash drawer. What's the next thing we need to do? So we're working on this spider. I'm happy with its progress. The angle's pretty good for the perspective, so I can have it crawling along that surface. I need to put in floor slats and weapon systems. So it has two. It has two harpoon flingers on the top decks, and then on the front deck it has, or the prow, it has a ballista. So let's go fetch some ballista artwork off of here and see if that fits. Honestly, copy. I'm going to just get rid of these guys altogether and just go with the circle. If this works out, I may go back and fetch reference. For right now, I just want to see if this works. So I'm going to clean up the margin here. Get rid of these dudes. It is both a blessing and a curse to produce your own artwork for a book that you're making, because the blessing is the level of precision and intent, that every piece that I put in here is exactly what I intended it to be, at the size that I intended, depicting what I wanted. But it takes a long time to do it. So I've been debating whether I should be doing black and white art, or like one color sepia tone of like producing simpler pieces so they're faster to go through. And when I do a Kickstarter, I may decide to do that. I'm not sure. So here's our piece. Let's first thing we want to do is rotate it. We're going to drop the opacity a bit, just to see if it can line up or not. It's the right size. Look, it's fitting there pretty nicely. Now let's see what happens if we skew. And then rotate a little bit more. Add in a mask layer. It fits. It actually fits. Nice. Hey, we just dropped a ballast on the front end of this ship. That's pretty badass, man. So that's freaking awesome. I am beyond thrilled. We're gonna call yeah, that's gonna be fine there. This is our base. Here we have our masking layer in place. This is good. Let's continue our effort and start putting in some floor slats to help break up the space. Oh, that's a fun way to do this. Yes, let's do that. Whoa! Where do we go? we go. Chip, chop, cherry, cheru, cherum. We've got this incline here that happens on the structure, and so we have the slats slower together and this curvature happening to indicate that elevation change. I think I'm accomplishing that okay. I'm gonna fade that in a little bit. Drop this to the background. Here's our turret. Yeah, let's drop some decals on this guy now. I think that's the right thing for us to do. Stickers. You got these little blobble effects that we have going on, and obviously the metal of this craft is a lighter value than what we have currently illustrated here. So, hey Hornetico, it's good to see you, my guy. I got that ballista on the prow of the spider ship, so I'm pretty proud of that. Although obviously the scale is minuscule. The thing here is that this is a PDF, right? So a PDF allows you to zoom a lot. You can easily get to this scale and be able to see all the details of this if you were to zoom in that closely. So I've been spending an inordinate amount of time for the size of the illustration to do the color work, because at this scale, doing the color work doesn't take weeks, it takes a couple days. So, but we're learning lessons here, like don't. The lesson is don't. I'm going to have to figure out how to really collapse time frames better in the future if I'm going to have good Kickstarters. So we'll figure that stuff out. The muse tells me that I don't need to worry about it right now. Let's just keep pushing pixels, and the pathway, my destiny, as Olivia Newton-John would say, destiny will arrive. So let's trust the muse herself, and just stay on point and on target with what we're doing. She's got 1, 2, 3, 4 legs. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 legs. Mask. Legs. Legs go in front of mask. Thank you. So that's our base point for the nubs. And we should have another nub here. We should take this road here. How you doing today, Hornetica? What you got going on, my guy? Oops. Basically like that. Pull this in a little bit. That's so you can see how we do. Let's merge this down. Let's build some rigging real quick, because we have the slats here that are guiding where our direction is supposed to be. So we can go from here to here, and that should be lining up these 2 feet together, which they don't. So let's go to here, and then I go from here, that's off, here to here, nope, still off, nope, still off, oof, that, wait, this one's off too. Let's try doing this, like actually doing this, nope. I'm a little off mark today, aren't I? There we go. So we can have that there. Thank you. And then here. That jives. And so we need to have there. Yeah, that jives. And then here to... I don't know how that alarm got so loud, man, but that alarm is loud now. I don't feel like it was that loud before. There, that's pretty good for the positioning of the legs underneath the strut, like the undercarriage of this craft. And so again, these things are 40 feet, right? And each of these legs can be used as piercing rams, so you can do melee attacks with them. But they're also piercing rams, so you can hold on, like you can grapple objects of the same scale. Like this is it's 30 feet, so like anything that's 50 feet or smaller, it can grapple with these with the legs, like grab things. If it's larger than 50 feet, it can stab into or grip onto and hold on to something larger. But when you're holding on to something, you're grappling it when you grapple, you're basically getting carried by whatever that thing is. So it's a hold. You can get a hold on things that are bigger than you. Like a 50-foot creature, a 5-foot character can get a hold on a 50-foot creature, but you can't effectively grapple a 50-foot creature. Like a fighter can't really grapple the Trask. You can get a hold of the Trask. You can climb on the Trask. You can stab the Trask, but you can't like suplex the Trask. As a 5-foot character, or like a pixie, like a 2-foot pixie, can't just pick up and throw the Trask unless you have some amazing high-end, like high-tier features that perhaps are existing in the martial power system. So check that stuff out on Tuesdays if you want. But you could also do things like, since this is 50 foot, you could like grab an Umber Hulk and carry a bunch of Umber Hulks on the bottom chassis. Like an Umber Hulk fills a 2x2 square. So like size large. You could have easily 2 Umber Hulks clipped on, or like being held underneath this Spiderling. So if a Spiderling were to strafe across your ship, it could just let go and drop Umber Hulks onto the deck of your ship while firing at your crew, and then shooting and then skittering out of view, out of range behind another rock, and then come back around again. Like asteroids are fucking fun, man. Little asteroid encounters like this, I love it. Love it. So much coolness. The fun thing is that you don't all this stuff works just as well in Theater of the Mind as it does on a grid. Of course, the grids that we use are 5 feet for boarding and character stuff, 50 feet for melee combat and fighter ship interaction, 500 feet for more distant ranged combat. And then once you get to 1 mile and larger scale, you're out of weapons ranges. So you're basically chasing to try to close distance if you want to fight, or fleeing to open up space to lose them in a jump. So you can do all these things in Theater of the Mind instead. I'm going to grab my reference here and pull it down closer so I can keep an eye on where it's supposed to be. Eye on television, where it's supposed to be at. So let's grab this one here, something like that. Maybe not. We can like this, and then like that. We can like this, and then like that. We can like this, and then like that. And we can like this, and then like that. And then trim it down. On television. My gourd. I used to watch Ion Television. It was like a B-roll cable channel. It played like endless hours of NCI, Law and Order, and God, what's that other show? Leverage. Ion Television. So good. And then, God, what was there was was it? I'm gonna have to figure out the name of it. There was some TV channel that was like some cable channel that was like really self-aware. It wasn't Boomerang. It was something like that though. It was like like it played Columbo and Golden Girls and stuff like that. I can't remember the name of it. It was like early 2000s. But by God, some of those channels were fucking funny. Like their bumpers, their bump promos were just fun stuff. I see text over there. I'm going to catch up with you in a second. Hold on. Hey, Plant. I cannot hear, but hello. You can't hear again, huh, buddy? That's... Plant. More peanut spiders, yes. Cool beans. Plant. Sound is good here. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check, 1, 2, 3. Yep. See, we're coming through. That's on you, bud. Sorry. There you go, my guy. Sound is confirmed. Good. Sad. There you go, buddy. But hey, I'm glad you came around anyway. Hopefully the sound picks up for you again eventually. I think you're having some sort of... You've had that problem before, if I recall correctly. You've got device issues, my man. I never know if a guy's a girl or not. I just call people my man and my dude and stuff like that, just probably because I'm a grognard. I'm gonna blame grognardedness. There are no excuses for me, like, period. Like that dude at Wizards says, people like me can't get out of the industry fast enough. I'm apparently no good. I am poisoning the well of creation for Wizards of the Coast. Is what that message tells me. I am bad for the industry. I don't remember adding this song to my mix, but it's kind of fun. I'll turn my sound. Right on, my guy. Well, I'm proud to have you. Thanks a lot for being here. Anyone that sticks around and shows up and shoots the shit, it's appreciated. The reason I created this stream in the first place is because the amount of work that, like, the work order, the art, like, me as an art director have assigned so much work to me as an artist that the risk of burnout through intimidation and fatigue is high. So I jump on stream like this whenever, like, at least once a day, except for Sundays I rest. Not only just to show where we're at and you know, to proof myself against the, like anyone would imagine this is AI art, but in case anyone ever questioned my integrity about, like, where am I getting my references from and what have I been building and blah blah blah, this future proofs me against any kind of doubts of the integrity of work that I produce, and but it also holds me accountable to anyone that comes by and shows up to find out what I got going on, so that I'll keep showing up and getting stuff done every day. Is that's it. I can hate how long it takes to be made, but more so I would hate not getting it done at all and just giving up. Or even worse, having the dream of getting it done, but burning out and not actually being able to do it. So this is a means for me to make sure I get the work done, that I hold myself accountable for being productive, and to basically talk through the process and be excited about the book, to keep coming back and re-inspiring myself every day that this is I'm basically going through labor pains right now. I am birthing a book, and the punishment and pain that I feel of the book being birthed is the amount of effort and time it requires for me to invest in producing it. So there's the third reason I do stream like this is because people are don't know about the creation process in general and what it takes. So if you check out multiple streams that I have running, like my Tuesday design stream, and then the cartography stream that I do on Mondays and Thursday nights, and then these art streams that I do daily, this gives you a sense of scope of like all the shit that actually goes into building a role-playing game or supplement to a game. And then of course, if you jump into my Patreon, you can look at all the playtest content that I put out for folks to be able to see where the game is, like where this thing is going to go, or where like the color mana spell, the martial power system that we've been developing. Like you get a look at that stuff and you can mess around with it yourself while we go through that process. And I'm really happy with how those legs sit. Like that foot is like right on the cusp of being over the edge, which is right where we want it, right out of view, so that all this guy has to do is just kind of like hunch over the side of the rock, and his ballistic crew can start taking shots at the ship as it goes by. That is very satisfying. So I'm going to merge. No, don't do it. Oh, merge. I can take this block here, cut, paste, there. Yeah, that back leg didn't work out so much. All right, let's just go back. Next thing we need to do is build these things, but over here. So, hey, what's up? What's I've seen here and there? I only know about D&D because of Tales of the Sneak. Right on. What's I've seen here and there? Let me try to. Let's see. Maybe I can grab these. Maybe I can simplify this process and grab these legs, paste them, put them here. Drop the scale a touch. There. And now we can fuck around with each one. Fuck around and find out. Let's try distort instead. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Like that. Slim that calf down a little bit. Curve out that shin bone. So, Plant, you showed up for the artwork, I guess, huh? The only reason people plug into this thing is either because they're art enthusiasts and aspiring artists themselves, or they're D&D enthusiasts and don't immediately disagree with my opinions. Proud to have you. Fair enough, man. We're all just hanging out, yo. Oops. I just my program. I just saw my bar over here flip, which tells me that my computer just froze up. So I have to close the document and then reopen it. Combat. We're gonna have some combat. Combat, baby. Back into it. Not much to do but to do it. You gotta roll low. Some classic Smokey and the Bandit limericks there for you. Smokey and the Bandit, man. I loved that film. That was a great movie growing up. Was that Burt Reynolds? Fucking A, Burt. Can you imagine an actor named Burt these days? It'd never happen. We're going to... No, skewing is not the right answer. Let's go. Let's go. Let's distort. Let's do that. So we're going to be back tomorrow. We're going to be working on the Abyssal Underdark adventure, Enderken's Weapon. That's the book cover that I've been commissioned to create. It has been a joy to produce so far. That's in my art commission stream playlist that's on my channel. So you can click into Phil Kearney. You can look at the different playlists that we build content for each week. Each of them is either a separate adventure, game rule book, or a commission from a similar content creator. I feel like I can curve this better. I've really been falling in love with the sense of all things are as they should be. Like it's difficult. Like sometimes you feel like you're faking it until you make it, you know? Like you hope things are going to turn out, but you really honestly have no idea if they're going to or not until it's all actually resolved. And I'm going to distort this a little bit more. Like that. I need to keep slimming that thigh down, or that calf down a little bit, and thicken that thigh a bit. Correspond with this one here. But allowing myself to feel confident that the feeling, like for example, I've talked about this a lot before, but I don't have control over the feelings that I have. No one controls the feelings that we have. That's the that's the ride that we're on. That's the roller coaster that we put a coin in to let the machine play, and we got to let it play the whole song. And so when we have an emotional experience, it's not like we've failed ourselves for not being able to control our emotions. It is impossible to control our emotions. It cannot be done. So guilting yourself for not being able to do the impossible is insanity. But I'm gonna flip vertical and then turn like that, and then we're going to move this into position here. We're going to rotate just a little bit more here. But releasing myself from the responsibility of feeling guilty is a massive reduction in stress. Like most of the guilt and self-loathing that I I heap upon myself, especially like during this project, how slow it's moving. If I'm in a bad frame, I blame myself for not being able to accomplish more quicker. But that's ignoring the process of what it is that we're doing, the critical process of evolving. Like while I do this artwork, and I talk about this as far as like artists are concerned in general, that art is a physical reference to somebody like actively evolving. And if that doesn't make any sense, let me describe that a little bit more. Like we're born with what we know, and as we age, we learn more stuff, and our opinions evolve, and our the way that we approach life evolves. We become different people over time. That is the process of evolution, to become more than what we were when we started. And so I'm gonna grab this like that, bring that out, touch, and then thin it out a bit here. And those emotions that we experience is part of that process of us evolving. That slow grind of becoming someone more than we were before. And am I off base here? That one's on point. Here. Oh no, yep, this one is off. So the more I can lean into my own bullshit and embrace the fact that it's just a ride, and that the only free will I actually have in this life is being able to appreciate that I'm alive at all. The more I can get into that groove, the less I suffer, as the Zen Buddhists would say. The less I suffer through the events I'm destined to experience. And that is the big difference between free will and destiny, is that willing participation in the suffering that I will endure, the crucible of evolution that allows me to become more than what my current beliefs and limitations allow me to be. And that is what opens up the door to inspiration, intuition, and zero time of being able to live life without actually accruing any entropy in the process, which is why I can have a full head of hair. It's not gray even though I'm 50, you know? Like, that's why I can still get more, like, that's why Robert Downey Jr. at 67 can be fucking ripped. It's not just the steroids, it's what he believes in himself and allows himself to endure to become a better person. I think actors are, in general, a great example of that evolutionary process of becoming more than what they are by actively taking on roles unto themselves. But I don't want to give actors any real praise because they'll get egotistical about it. So there are my legs. I can grab. I'm going to drop transparency here on you, my man. Grab this. I'm gonna grab this one. I'm going to free transform. So my focus these weeks is in forgiving myself for the process that it takes to achieve the things that I've set before me. I want this book done. This book's going to take a lot of time to get done. I have to forgive myself that there is a time delay involved with having what I want. There's no blame or guilt assigned to having to go through the process of production. And that allows me to remain open, since I'm not devoting all this brain cycle to suffering. Uh-oh. Oh, I fucked up. All right. Yeah. There we go. Brand new. Let's grab these legs here and just push them. Let's leave them where they were, and let's just bend these down a bit. Like that. Here. That feels good. Bub. I'm happy with that. So now that we have the legs in place, we got our floorboards, we have our front-facing legs. Let's build some couplings. Or fairings. Are these fairings? Is that what they call that? Like on a motorcycle? I can feel the muse kicking, man. She's excited about something. The muse is most happy when I'm talking about stuff. She likes me to surrender my voice systems. She likes to take the mic and speak through me. A lot of times when I'm talking, I really don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm just listening to it as it happens. As I guess a form of channeling, if you really wanted to take that way. But I have the sincere belief that we're more or less in a video game. And that there are people lined up with quarters that are waiting their turn to play as well as other incarnations. And that there are people that are watching your performance. Because, again, everything you do, everything that you're ashamed of, everything that you're proud of, everything that happens to you is scripted. It's already happened. It's a movie that's playing out. You're the only one. Like, we here in reality aren't in on the quote unquote the joke of it. It is a reality that's being played out, and it is being played out specifically for us. At one level, to be able to, I don't know the true intention of it, like why it was created. But the general sense that I have is that those that create this simulation have a reduced capacity to experience emotions. It could be like, if you're going, like, spoiler alert for those that haven't seen The Good Place, so keep your ears out for that. But the way that The Good Place basically works is that when you're in heaven, you reach a degree of apathy. Because like the Max, if you've seen the Max on Liquid Television back in the 90s, unlimited pleasure has its downsides. And basically it's growing apathetic to the splendor and perfection that you are invited into as part of the afterlife. And the longer you hang there, the more disassociated you become from feeling appreciation for even being there in the first place. That this was what you were born into, this sense of perfection. And you burn out on it. You burn out on limitless pleasure. It has its downsides, and that is the lack of struggle. So how do you regain appreciation for perfection and being granted any wish that you can imagine and being able to live through any scenario that you want and have any, as Alan Watts would say, unlimited pleasure, unlimited wish fulfillment. How do you endure that? How does that not get old and boring? You forget. You willingly forget that you are a conscious expression of the whole, the Almighty, God, the perfection, everything. You willingly forget so that when you wake up from the dream of not remembering what you really are, that dream being you and me right now in this place, waking up from that is the process of you leaving, dying, and returning to the arcade room. And you see it in Rick and Morty when Morty's playing Roy. He has no idea, like when he comes out of being Roy, he has no idea what's going on. He thinks he's Roy. He has forgotten that he is Morty. And it might seem trite that I would be referencing a cartoon as the foundation of a world philosophy, but Rick and Morty got it from Zen Buddhists. That the simulation theory is technically what Zen Buddhism is about. Becoming like Neo, becoming aware that you are in the Matrix while you are still alive so that you can fly. And that life can become a playground. And that although it's already been scripted for you, when you wake up inside of your own dream, that was scripted for you to be able to wake up inside of your dream. Now, the only question that I don't have an answer for is when you wake up in the dream, is the script over? And instead of dying, you awaken, and now you're basically off script, like Rick Sanchez when he's playing Roy. He's aware when he goes into the machine, and he is so self-aware that he stays aware that he's not Roy, that he's playing Roy, and he like I was talking about last time. He burns his social security card, he goes off the grid, and everyone in the arcade is like, oh my god, like they recognize. Like, for example, there was a video game in the 80s and 90s called Heavy Barrel. It was basically Akari Warriors 3. And it was a top-down scroll game where like you could it had one of those joysticks, right? It had a joystick here that you could spin. And it could go left, right, front, and back, and it could spin. So while my character's going this way, I could spin and shoot in this direction. So while I'm navigating this direction, I could maintain a focus on firing in that direction, and I can strafe and avoid bullets while I'm firing at a target over here. And then I could switch my target up this way and fire this way while I'm walking in this direction too. So this was an arcade machine that had these spin wheel joysticks, and then you had to fire buttons and grenades and stuff. Wherever you're pointing is where you'd fire and throw grenades. Super fucking fun game. I could beat that game on 1 quarter. I played that game so much. I knew everything that was going to happen in that game. I knew the timing, I knew the patterns, and it was a joy for me to be able to play that game on 1 quarter. Me and my friend Kyle McCracken. God bless you, Kyle. I loved you. He passed away. He took his life in his early 20s. And it was his family that I played D&D with all throughout high school. Loved him, loved him, loved him, loved him, loved him. He was my brother. I loved him so much. Yeah, he and I, we can go into, it was a two-player simultaneous game. Like, you'd have 2 warriors, they'd be on screen, and there'd be more, they'd increase the CR by adding more enemies to fight. And we could both, individually, we could both beat it on 1 quarter, and we could beat it in 50 cents together, playing as a duo. And we owned that game. And when we'd roll into the arcade and we'd be playing this game, we would attract the interest of other people that were in the arcade. That's why I love that Roy episode so much. It resonates so deeply with me, because I've had that experience of people rallying around. It's like, oh my God! It's like, yeah, it's like they're beating Heavy Barrel, and because we'd played it so much, we knew it so intimately, And that kind of feels like what reality is. Is like it has that same sense of, I know it's going to happen. The joy is performing the dance, is moving through the field of bullets that come at you. It's weaving your way through it and having the mastery to do it, and having the joy. Like if you we would turn off our brains, and we would just let the bullets flow, and we knew where we had to go, and we'd just be able to sift through it. If you played a lot of Raiden, it had that same top-down fighter ship with like the spray of bullets and different boss fights and stuff. It was all patterns and timing. Super Mario Brothers is the same way. It's all just patterns and timing. Donkey Kong is like that, but Donkey Kong is so complicated that it's virtually impossible to beat at one point, because the pattern becomes so difficult to perform. You have to be superhuman to be able to hit the marks, which made Donkey Kong a very popular game because it was unbeatable. At some point, it was just about the score, because the game is going to beat you and you're going to lose. Now you're just playing for points. Like, I know I can't beat this level, but how long can I stay alive in this level? That's where your top score comes from. Galaga is kind of like that too. But yeah, it's once you learn the game so well, you're just dancing through it, and it just becomes it's just fun. Just to know, like, you're proud to know the patterns. It's fun to play the game. It's fun to be able to just to be able to play through that experience, and this awakening process that I keep referring to of being inside the game of your own life. At some point in the game, if you wake up throughout that experience, that's when the other angels in heaven are starting to rally around you. It's like, he really knows how to play Plant. He really knows how to play Hernetico. That guy really knows how to play Phil. And it becomes a dance. It becomes a joy, a privilege, and an experience to be able to do that. And then you want to do it again. Hence the reincarnation into many worlds, where you get to re-experience this life. And as you get better and better at the game, you have more and more intuitions whispering to you. That sense of deja vu is no joke. That feeling that you've done this before is true, because this is not the first time you put the coin in the machine. You are mastering yourself as a human being. You are mastering the experience of living your life through this experience of a game, of being alive. And the more I embrace that belief, the more I recognize the feelings that I have, the experiences that I endure, suffer through, and celebrate, are all just part of that script, until maybe at some point, as the Zen masters express it, you literally wake up inside the dream of your life. You step out of it into the greater reality of the great arcade game, like the great arcade in the sky, and see all the different games that are on to play as different lives. And you have your favorite at the time, but every game is going to give you a different experience. So the angels in heaven are addicted to playing these different games, because angels can't feel emotions, but they can drop into a game of Phil or Plant or Hernetico or, Trump or Kardashian. These are all like Kardashian, the game. Like, these are all things that players experience in heaven, living these different lives and enjoying these different experiences. The Trump, Kardashian, Plant, Hernetico that I'm experiencing in this life right now is just an instance of these characters, of these people that become NPCs in my life, that are there scripted to help me have a different experience in my reality. This particular game, and again, like I say, I don't really think about what it is I'm talking about when the muse takes over, because the muse I refer to is the person that's put the coin in. I am the machine. I am a flesh machine. I experience entropy and a chemical reaction that produces emotions and experiences inside of me. The chemical reactions that happen in me make my muscles ignite with electricity, which in coordination causes me to rise from my seat, walk over and make a new pot of coffee, sit down and conduct a day of life at my job. And the more I relax and let the game play,
The more I relax and let the game play, the more I can celebrate experiencing the joy of racking up a high score. And the more I relax and let the system play the game for me, whoever it is that's at the joystick in heaven, she's really, really good at playing Phil. And she's gotten to the point where I can feel whispers from her. That's my intuition. That's my conscience whispering to me, don't do that, do this, don't do that, do this. And at some point it gets to a state where I'm not even just following, I'm not even acknowledging the command, I'm just obeying. And my free will, the destiny is the scripted things that are going to happen at each level of your game. The free will that still exists in your life is willingly accepting and embracing the experience of letting the level play out. Because who's at the joystick right now is a master. She knows the game so well that she can laugh and kick back and have fun with people and sip a Pepsi while playing the game. And that is the joy of life that I get to experience every day, in knowing that it's like the things that happen to me, the emotions I experience, it's part of racking up a high score. And the more I can let go of control and let intuition run the game, the higher the score is going to be. And when I get to step out of this life finally and return to source, there's a lot of people there that it'll take a little while for me to wake up and let the hangover of being filled burn off. But there's a cheeseburger and a fresh Pepsi waiting for me at the bar. I just got to get through this game to go grab them. Anyway, that's my own personal philosophy. Most of that is Hinduism and Buddhism. So you can research those things for yourself and embrace those ideas. But that's what the simulationist theory is. It's just a modernized, deconstructed Zen Buddhism. And the more we embrace it, the more joy we can experience. The less we recognize that it isn't suffering that we experience when things happen the way that we want it to. It's us misclicking. That sense of regret is literally the person at the joystick pissed off at themselves for forgetting that there was a spray of bullets headed this way. But it's okay. I've got 5 more lives in the machine. So, but I've just hit my deadline. I have to go pay my dues to the man by logging in my hours for money so I can keep coming back and doing this again with you guys. But this spider, all I need to do is basically some highlights on the legs, and this spider is going to be done. I can then put in the weapons, the mounted weapon here in the front and the back, and the crew that manned them put in the portal that leads down into the ship. But this is what we do. We're here 6 days a week. I do this Monday through Friday. Tomorrow I'm going to be back doing my own the commission that I got hired to do. I have no idea what the muse is going to have us do with that or what she wants to talk about, but the more I let her, the more joy I have in this, the more fun it is for me, the easier it is for me to push the pixels, the happier I am with the results. And I've been neglecting you guys. And a small random question: do you have any spooky story prompts about a dark alleyway? I do not have one. About a dark alleyway. No, but I have been visited in the astral realm, so I can share that story with you guys. If you remind me, maybe on Monday. So cue that up for me to remember if I don't remember it myself. But I gotta go, so I will. I'm gonna see you guys. I'll be back. I'll be back at lunch today, doing some Eberron artwork because I was talking about the Bastion system online with Taryn on Destructive Boys channel last night. So I wasn't here for Eberron last night. I'm gonna do that at lunch today. So I got to get out of here now so I can get in my 4 hours of work, so I can come back maybe around 12:30, 1 o'clock. We'll do some Eberron cartography for my Friday lunch stream, which I'm hoping I can fire up consistently each week to be on for a 10th time each week. But yeah, thanks a lot, guys. I will see you then. Cheerios.